right, welcome. Woo, play that new intro music, TJ. That's right, first podcast of the year. We're finally here, boys. It's time. It is football time, shit sippers. I'm excited. All of that studying you did for the draft, all your roster baiting after the draft, our draft day antics, all that stuff's over. Real football is here. We are playing the games. In fact, as I record this, the Philly-KC game is on. Am I watching those juggling Chiefs? Absolutely not. I am standing in protest with our Kansas City hate club. If I hear one more thing about the Kelsey Taylor Swift thing, I'm just gonna gouge my eyes out with some spoons. I don't know. I'm over it. I hope they don't show Taylor Swift tonight. I'm sure they are. I hate it. I'm just kind of moving on. I'm out in protest. I'll check the box scores tomorrow. I am recording this for you, the league. I'm perplexed that anyone could possibly be cheering for that team anymore. Just terrible. But let's move on to something much more exciting. Our fantasy league. This is it. Our first preview. But before we get going on that, just some housekeeping. So first of all, I hope everybody enjoyed the draft. Obviously a good time. Some new members got to meet some of our other owners. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. Just everybody very knowledgeable. Draft went really well. Just overall great time. So hope everybody enjoyed that. Our first league watch party is this Sunday. So we're going to meet up at Island Wings in Bartram. For those of you who live near there, if anybody wants to get there early and reserve a table, give me a text. We'll plan on meeting up for the 1 o'clock games. The full address is in the newsletter. So who is coming? Need to get a head count. Let's see if everybody can get out there. Ryan, Andre, I expect you guys to fly in. So get a ticket. All right, as you all know, I'm planning on writing a weekly newsletter. You've already received 4 of them. I am pumping out content like Fat Gandalf pumps out eggplant jokes, all right? Thanks to TJ, Thunder, and Cameron. They have all committed to contributing to the newsletter this year. So you'll not only have my antics and thoughts, but you're going to have a couple sections from them about bets, weekly bets. And Cameron is going to do Jags preview every week. I'm sure he takes pride in it, but I think what our Sacco is most proud of is forcing our champ, TJ, a Titans fan, to have to read about the Jags every week. So good on you for somehow figuring that out, Cameron. All right, but speaking of bets, one of the things that I did mean to bring up at the draft that I did forget is just there's several people in this group that like to gamble. So what I was thinking is we could do some fantasy side bets, or if you want to, I don't really care. But some of you might want to do some side bets, whether it be weekly bets, like, hey, I think my fantasy team's going to beat yours, or something like that, or I think someone's going to come in last place. I figured if you wanted to do that, I could act as like escrow, basically, just like I do for the week buy-in, and just kind of hold the cash to the end of the year, or the end of the week if it's just a week bet. So if you think, Cooper is going to have a better season than dead last, like AI predicted he did, I do. If somebody wants to bet me that Cooper doesn't come in last place, I would happily accept that bet. And, we'll just hold that until the end of the year. I will track those bets in a section in the newsletter called Side Bets. So if anyone's interested in that, just let me know. Just put it in the chat that you want to bet each other or something like that, and we'll figure it out. You can just send it to me on Venmo. All right, so there's that. And the weekly podcast, this is the first podcast. The podcast is really just used to go over a weekly matchup. I usually give an analysis, pick a winner. I try to feature all the owners. It's definitely the priority. But I also try to keep the games close. If somebody's favored by 40, picking it's usually not that big of a deal. So I try to keep it close. But, of course, the priority is to get everybody involved. So I try not to have any owner in back-to-back weeks and make sure everybody gets at least 2 games. That's the goal. A lot will end up getting 3, but everybody gets at least 2 games throughout the year. So, not to brag, but your non-Sacco, but matured holding owner and commish, I went 10-3 last year in games. One of the games I missed by like 0.2 points or something. So Did pretty good, so not to brag, but if anybody knows how I can start betting on these things, let me know. I apparently could have made some money last year. All right, enough housekeeping. Let's get into the games. So, who's our 2024 inaugural matchup? Who am I going to be talking about? Nobody guessed it in the poll on WhatsApp. I can't believe it. I thought it was an obvious one. We have got the Sacco playing our champ. It's Cameron versus TJ. So, not only is this a good bragging rights game, it is super close. The computer has TJ as a 2-point favorite, a 51% chance to win, and they rated their drafts back-to-back. So TJ is projected to win just one more game on the season. I'm not really sure, TJ, how you could possibly let the Sacco get this close to you in a game, in our opening game of the year, but you did. So I think you've got a serious fear boner going on right now. You are at risk of losing to the Sacco the opening week, according to AI. So that sucks, but I am going to review the games, and we will see where it lands. So let's start off with quarterbacks. What I do with these is I just go through week by week, and for those of you who aren't gamblers, you're going to hear a lot about over-unders. So an over-under is just the total points that would be scored according to Vegas in any given week. Over 50 points is a very high-scoring game. An average is probably like 46, give or take. Anything at 43 or below, particularly below 40, is considered to be a very low-scoring game. So just kind of some points of reference for you if you're not a gambler. So going into the quarterbacks, I'll just go kind of group by group. We've got TJ rolling out Stafford and Levis versus Prescott and Baker for our Sacco. So both of these teams must have forgotten that we played in Superflex because these second options are just true flaming piles of poo. I mean, just Halloween style, burning on your doorstep piles of poo. But let's start off on the champ side. TJ's rolling out Stafford. Stafford gets the Lions. We may all have fun cheering for the Lions, but that defense is as easy as Andre's sister. I mean, just anybody can get in there. So they were dead. They were second to last against the rush, not dead last. And they were sixth worst against the pass last year. I mean, this is just has high-scoring game written all over it. Vegas agrees. It's actually the highest over-under of the week. It is 51 points, and I think it goes over. I mean, I think both of these teams put up some points. The Rams' defense is just atrocious, and the only way they win this year is if they score. And as of right now, they are healthy. And if they stay healthy, they're one of my surprise teams in the NFC. I think they could actually challenge for the division title. Sorry, Niners. But again, that's if they stay healthy. Now, while they may not stay healthy, they're healthy now. So I think Stafford here is a lock for 275. I think he gets 2 and probably 3 touchdowns is very realistic. So I think Stafford has a big game here trying to keep up with Detroit's scoring. Meanwhile, you got Levis on the other side. I'm actually not that low on Levis. I think he's going to be okay, but he gets the 8th worst defense in Chicago, so a bad defense. The problem is Chicago was dead last against the run, and while their defense has been revamped, I don't expect them to be great. So my game story here is that a decent Titans defense gets a rookie quarterback in Caleb. I recognize he's highly regarded and whatever, but it's still a rookie in his first game. And I'm going to guess it goes under the 44 points. And I think that the Titans actually win. I think they win by like 7. And I think they do it through controlling the clock and running the ball. So I just don't think Levis is going to have to do much this game. So I can see him scoring, 15 points, something like that. So not a whole lot. But Levis has got an arm. Maybe he bombs one in. We'll see. But I don't have high hopes for him this week. Now on to our reigning Sacco, Cameron. He drafted the champs quarterback, Dak. Took him early. Dak last year was the 16th best quarterback through week 5. He started off pretty slow, but then he nuclear explodes over everyone after week 5 and becomes quarterback 1. So which is the true Dak? I don't know, but I'm just not sure if we're going to get full fire crotch mode all year. We'll see. but I don't think it's week one. He gets the reigning defensive player of the year in Myles Garrett. Cleveland is very good on defense. They were third against the pass, 6 in sacks. I mean, they're a very, very good defense. So I don't expect Dak to just kind of go a Yobagoya style stinker and just, bomb the place. But I don't think he's a difference maker this week either. So I don't think he keeps up with Stafford this week. Baker gets the second spot. He gets the worst pass defense from last year in the Commanders. But I still don't care. I just don't care. I just don't. I think Baker's bad. I mean, if I had to pick any one player that I am just out on this year, it's Baker. He's top on the list. He's not good. 2 years ago, he was considered not even to be in the NFL. Like, he was a free agent. Although coming in and winning that game with the Rams was pretty awesome. Just a fun story. But he wasn't good. And then last year, he just kind of flukes into this pretty respectable year. His OC leaves. I mean, that's just icing on the cake. Like, I am not buying what Tampa is selling at all in Baker. So I don't care that he gets the worst defense. My edge here, every week or every position I will pick an edge, and this edge goes to TJ, and I think it's significant. I mean, I think he can get 10 more points out of his quarterback group than Cameron. All right, moving on to wide receivers. All right, both teams have 4, so kind of stick with me here. All right, champ rolling out. A.J. Brown, Nico, Rashee Rice, and Terry McLaurin. And he's going against Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, and rookie is Xavier Worthy. So a lot going on here. I'll try to repeat it. On TJ's side, he has A.J. Brown. I'm actually pretty down on Philly and the Bills this year. The reason that I took pick 6 in the draft was because I didn't feel comfortable being high, taking Hurts or Allen. I probably would have picked third and taken Mahomes. I could have that totally wrong, but I just wasn't as confident. So I wanted to be in the middle and see what fell. The rest of the draft, if you've read my draft review, you'll know I did not like the way that turned out, but that was the plan. That's why I took 6. So I'm just confused by the Eagles. Their collapse last year was one of the worst in recent memory. I mean, they went from a top offense, like A.J. Brown having a historic run, just looking fantastic, to just total trash. I mean, they were bad. It just, in a lot of internal, rumors about people not liking each other and Hurts not getting along with the head coach. I mean, it's bad. Anybody who's been around me for any period of years here, though, knows I love Kellen Moore. I think that guy's going to be a head coach one day. I think he's a great offensive coordinator. But the thing is, he's always had accurate passers. Always. I mean, that's like his calling card. Well, accurate passer and Jalen Hurts, those words do not go together in the same sentence. I'm just not sure what to expect out of this offense, like at all. I don't know who the number 1 receiver is going to be. I assume it's A.J. Brown, but I don't know. I think Devonta could have a decent year and kind of steal some stuff from him, but I don't know. I mean, these short passes and things that Kellen Moore has liked, that's not A.J. Brown's game. I mean, A.J. Brown's fantastic, though, and you should want to get him the ball. I'm just confused, and I just don't know what to make out of Philly. And I think Hurts is bad. Like, I get that he might be a good real-life football player. He is not a good passer. I think he's a bad passer. So I don't know what to do with Philly this year, and I kind of just avoided them. Now, I do think Rashee Rice was possibly the best value in the draft. I mean, I think Rice is going to have a great year. The problem is he opens up against Baltimore's defense. And I know Hollywood's out, so Rashee Rice should get some play, but I don't know. I just see this being a Kelsey Pacheco type of night, not really a big Mahomes deep ball type of night. So I think they're going to try to control the middle of the field. So we'll see. I do like McLaurin. Sadly, he might be playing with his best passer of his career in a rookie. So Jaden Daniels, we'll see. But, man, he looked great at LSU, and Cooper will tell you all about it. So I don't know. I really don't know what to expect out of them all year. But they get Tampa, and Tampa's defense was bad. So I can see Tampa trying to hold on to a lead at home, and that makes Daniel have to pass the ball. And I don't even think I can name the second receiver in Washington right now. I guess it's Luke McCaffrey, but McLaurin should eat. Now, that could be like 5 catches for 50 yards, so I don't know. We'll see, but I like him here. I think he's just going to have a solid week, and if anybody's going to score in the passing game, it's going to be him. So I'll take him. The best play, though, of this group is Nico. I have this game going over the 48, and I think it's all Stroud all day. This is the new Texas triplets. It's going to be a tough call every week between these three, but I think Nico's got a good chance to score. So I like the group. I just don't like the matchups really this week. So kind of moving on, I guess, going on to the Sacco side here. All right, so while this group has a lot of name value, it doesn't have the Taco Notary stamp of approval. I'm not sure it's possible for me to be more down on a general group. I'm calling it now. Mike Evans misses 1,000 yards for the first time since the dinosaur age. I have no confidence at all in Baker. So on paper, the Bucs stack up great against this terrible Washington defense, and you might think that you get a stack in this game, and man, he should have a huge advantage. But I just don't care. So it looks good. I'm just calling my shot here. I just don't like this group for the year, or the stack for the year. So I'm kind of just calling my shot. He's starting a rookie, also an Xavier Worthy, which is an interesting start because he's got a couple other guys on the bench. But I think it is what it is with Worthy. You just accept the fact that you're going to get a 2 or 3 point week, or he's going to catch a 60-yard bomb. I don't know which one is going to happen. I would bet against the 60-yard bomb. I'd actually say you should start Gabe Davis. That's what I would do. But I guess it's roughly the same with Gabe Davis. I just think he plays against Miami, so maybe a better chance of that deep ball. But I don't know. It's hit or miss. It's we'll see what happens with Worthy. The strength of this team, though, is the next two. It's certainly Justin Jefferson. Yes, he's got Darnold, but he's also got to play the hapless Giants. Jefferson's going to be just fine. I expect at least 20 points out of him, like no problem. Now, while Christian Kirk usually doesn't have a high ceiling, he's this kind of short catch type of guy. Maybe you get 13 points out of him, right? So you really got to hit those weeks where he gets those touchdowns. He's not going to get 10 this year, but he's playing Miami. While Miami's defense looks to be better this year, they look to be better later in the year. Miami's defense is still playing with a bunch of injuries. Most of the pass rushers are still injured from last year, and now it looks like Ramsey's out. So they get a banged-up Miami defense. It's the second highest over-under of the week, so I can definitely see a shootout here coming. If Kirk doesn't score this week, I'd have to give him a serious downgrade on this year's expectations if he doesn't get used this week. If we see Gabe Davis blow up or Brian Thomas, I'm going to be concerned for Kirk. So I think this is Kirk's week. So I think the edge here goes to TJ, but it's a slight edge. I could easily be wrong if, Worthy ends up hitting a touchdown. So a slight edge to TJ here, even if you want to call it a draw, but I just think TJ's got the more consistency. But that's going to be a theme. Going to be a theme with Cameron this year. He has got some boom or bust players. Speaking of that, the running back group is up next. We've got Breece and King Henry. So the Titans fan, our champ, takes King Henry, even though he's now in Baltimore. And he's playing against Connor and Achane. So he's starting boom or bust Xavier Worthy, boom or bust Achane. I'm going to call Baker a boom or bust, but I think he's mostly busting. Just a lot of up and downs. He could get took a couple touchdowns to Evans, and you see the stack score, right? You could get Xavier Worthy scoring, right? Like he's got a lot of chances here, and he's got Achane. So, interesting team, and will be an interesting year for our Sacco. But first, let's talk about our champ, as is the appropriate thing to do. Our champ went high T in this year's draft. He took Brees and his former Titan King Henry. I mean, that's just a murder boner of a hard duo. I mean, I can certainly poke holes in it. Brees is not going to get the, 90 catches he had last year or whatever. Gus Bus was in the Baltimore offense last year and got 13 touchdowns, and he still wasn't startable. So I'm not sure where that's going to change, but I'm not going to shit on this team right now. These are two very good running backs and will be a strength for TJ this year. However, they get the Niners and KC. While we all, of course, hate the Chiefs suck, we also know Maturd didn't win that Super Bowl. The defense did. They were freaking great last year. They didn't lose anybody. If Kansas City's offense comes this year, they're going to be a tough out, because I think that defense is going to be good again. So maybe Henry sneaks one in. I mean, if Gus Bus can get 13 touchdowns, Derrick Henry should have 15 easy in the bag, right? So he's going to average a touchdown every week. The problem is, I don't think he gets 100 yards, and we know he's not catching many balls. So I just don't know how many points you're going to get out of him this week. Maybe he gets lucky and sneaks in 2 or something, but I just don't see that happening. So the Niners defense last year, Brees has got the Niners. The Niners defense last year, in their supposedly down year, they had the 3rd lowest yards against the rush. Like, we're still very good against the rush. So I don't see that changing for any reason. Looking at, them playing against the Jets, and the Jets have arguably the best defense in the league. So I don't see really anybody scoring in this game. I mean, it's going to be a lot like Ryan's college career, just dried up. So I just don't see Brees really doing a whole lot. So it's just a bad week for TJ's running backs. But our Sacco, buddy, buckle up. You are on that Achane roller coaster. I mean, in a high-scoring game against the Jags, I mean, you would think he could come in and just have a solid day. But that is not this dude's style. You are getting 30 out of him, or you're getting 5 because he barely touched the field. What type of day is it going to be? I got no idea. And anyone who acts like they do, just go ahead, slap them right across the face, tell them Alan told you to do it, because there's just no way to predict this guy. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll give him 20 on the week. I have no idea. So, while he's got that in Achane, he did take Connor. And while Connor may not make it through a season, he's good now. And I love the Arizona offense. I mean, Kyler Murray looked solid last year, and Connor is one of the most underrated fantasy running backs. I try to get him almost every year in my touchdown league. I've had him 5 or 6 times. He's a workhorse. He just doesn't play all year. So you just don't see the stats, but when he plays, he gets touchdowns. So I like Connor. He's going to be very, consistent. He should be able to balance out Achane. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm down on Buffalo. I think that defense is going to be bad. So if I'm high on the cards, I'm down on Buffalo. Connor's getting a TD this week. Like, there's my TD guaranteed for the week. And then I can see him scoring possibly twice, but definitely getting some catches, because I think Buffalo should score against Arizona. While I like Arizona's offense, their defense is atrocious. It's kind of like the Rams. Like, those two teams are very similar. So this should be a high-scoring week, and I can see, Connor really having a good week. So edge here, I think, is pretty clear. Name value on the champ side, but my prediction goes Sacco takes this group, and I think Sacco takes it by a good amount. I think he can make up the difference here in the quarterback difference. So maybe the difference is at tight end. Well, that ain't good for TJ. TJ's got good old Goddard, and then we have got Kelsey on the other side. So TJ rolls out a tight end that, I don't know, I'd cut him. Like, I would cut him, like, genuinely, and go find someone off waivers. Like, I think he's a fifth option in Philly. I mean, I would genuinely cut him and go to like Hunter Henry against Cincinnati, maybe Otten against Washington, Freiermuth against Atlanta. I mean, I think any of these guys has just as good a chance to score as Goddard does. I just don't think he's going to be very good at all. He's just going to be touchdown dependent. Meanwhile, the Sacco gets arguably the best tight end early on. I'm sure opening night Taylor will be present. I'm sure they will show her. So that NFL script, baby. The NFL is not going to let Kelsey not score a touchdown in front of his queen there on the national stage opening night. Like, Kelsey definitely gets a touchdown. I think big edge here to Kelsey and our Sacco. All right, that's it. That's all the position groups. Nobody cares about kickers and defense. So it's time. Allen, stone cold, rock hard, welded in a steel lock of the week. Oh boy, I like TJ's draft significantly more than Cameron's. I genuinely thought I was coming in and I was going to take TJ, but I am going upset, baby. Week 1 upset. The Sacco takes down the champ. The quarterbacks legitimately worry me, but the running back matchups, the tight end advantage, take down the champ. Just 10 pounds of pudding right in it, just all over the place. I mean, Sacco, you're getting a win week 1. You're starting off the season this way. Nothing could go wrong, right? Well, we'll see. I might have been 10-3 last year, but I might be 0-1 after this week. But I got confidence in you, Cameron. You got this. Take down the champ. Sorry, TJ. All right, boys. Play me out. That's a wrap on week 1. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next week. Peace out.